In the 1990s, workers at a coal mine in Schöningen, Germany, found something almost impossible: wooden spears preserved alongside the remains of several horses. An analysis published in 2025 estimated that these weapons were approximately 200,000 years old. That date may still be refined by future research, but the significance of the discovery is remarkable. The spears had been carefully crafted. Some had proportions that may have allowed them to be used from a distance. And the horses found at the site were much faster and heavier than any human being. No claws, no fangs, no impressive speed. And yet, the horses were on the ground, and the weapons were lying beside them. This leads us to an unsettling question. How did a relatively fragile primate manage to survive while surrounded by stronger predators and much faster prey? The obvious answer seems to be the brain, but simply saying, "because we are intelligent," oversimplifies the story. A brain alone cannot bring down a horse. To understand what really happened, we need to go back millions of years and examine a change that may not have seemed very important at first. Our ancestors began walking on two legs. Bipedalism emerged long before modern humans. It did not appear with a specific purpose, as if evolution had planned to free our hands so we could make spears. Evolution does not work according to plans for the future. It gradually modifies characteristics that provide an advantage in a particular environment. Walking upright may have helped different human ancestors move around, observe their surroundings, and carry objects. Researchers still debate the exact reasons it evolved, but one consequence proved decisive: the hands were no longer required for most forms of locomotion. Now, imagine the following scene. An animal finds a sharp stone. When it moves on, it leaves the stone behind because it needs all four limbs to run. A bipedal ancestor could carry it. It could transport food, wood, tools, and even an infant. It was like gaining a trunk without having to buy a car. And those hands were not merely free. They could hold objects precisely, control the force of the fingers, and perform delicate movements. An ordinary stone could become a cutting edge. A branch could be sharpened. An animal hide could become protection. This was when physical weakness began to be offset by something new. The human body no longer needed to be born with all its weapons. It could make them. But there is a problem with that explanation. An armed animal still needs to approach its prey. And in a short race, a human would probably lose to almost anything it was trying to hunt. We are not great sprinters. A horse, an antelope, or a big cat can leave us far behind. But our bodies possess another ability: endurance. Humans can travel long distances and release heat through sweat produced across much of the skin. Our legs, tendons, posture, and ability to stabilize the head also help us walk and run for extended periods. This does not mean that all ancient peoples practiced persistence hunting, chasing animals until they became exhausted. That hypothesis is supported by known examples and anatomical arguments, but its importance in human evolution remains debated. The safer conclusion is simpler. We may not have been the fastest, but we could keep moving for a long time. Your body still carries a clue from this story. When you sweat during a run, the water dripping from your skin is more than an inconvenience. Its evaporation helps your body release heat. It is like having a cooling system installed across your skin. But endurance and tools still do not explain everything. One person facing a large animal alone remains at an enormous disadvantage. Now, place several people in the same situation. One person studies the tracks. Another knows the terrain. Some guide the animals in a particular direction. Others wait with spears. Later, the food can be shared. Strength no longer existed only in the individual body. It now existed within the group. Cooperation allowed humans and other ancient members of the genus Homo to perform tasks that would have been impossible for one person alone. Archaeological evidence points to organized hunting, although it is difficult to reconstruct the exact role of each participant. Even so, a collection of carefully prepared weapons found near slaughtered animals suggests planning, coordination, and shared knowledge. And this is where an even more powerful ability appears: learning by watching others. If every generation had needed to discover fire, reinvent the spear, and relearn which plants were poisonous, progress would have been extremely slow. But knowledge could pass from one person to another. Someone discovered a better way to sharpen a stone. Another person copied it. A third made a small improvement. The next tool began where the previous one had left off. It works like a family recipe that receives a small adjustment with every generation. Except that instead of changing the amount of salt, our ancestors were improving their survival techniques. We call this cumulative culture. Knowledge and skills are preserved, combined, and improved over time. Language greatly expanded this ability. We still do not know exactly when a form of language comparable to ours first appeared, because spoken words do not leave fossils. Anatomy, genetics, and symbolic objects provide clues, but they do not give us a definitive date. Even before fully modern language emerged, gestures, sounds, and demonstrations may have made coordination and learning easier. Through communication, a danger did not need to be discovered separately by every individual. One person only had to survive the encounter and warn the rest of the group. Then came the control of fire. There is evidence of controlled fires dating back at least several 100,000 years. Some archaeological sites point to approximately 790,000 years ago, while claims of even earlier fire use remain under debate. Fire provided heat, light, and protection. It could also transform food, making many ingredients softer and easier to digest. A group was no longer dependent only on the weapons it carried. It could now alter the environment itself. Cold, it produced heat. Darkness, it produced light. Tough food, it cooked it. Predators nearby, it kept a fire burning. This may be the greatest belief-shattering revelation in the entire story. Humans did not wait for evolution to give them thick skin to withstand the cold. They made clothing and shelters. They did not wait to develop fangs. They created blades. They did not become faster than horses. They created strategies to surround them. Our adaptation no longer happened only inside the body. It began happening outside it as well. A spear works like a removable fang. Clothing works like fur that can be changed. A fire works like a small, controlled piece of the sun. And a community works like a single organism made up of many people. That is why comparing one human being with one lion creates a misleading picture. The true unit of survival was not just the individual, it was the individual equipped with tools, knowledge, and other people. Now we can return to Schöningen. Those wooden weapons do not simply represent someone who found a pointed branch. They preserve evidence of an entire sequence of abilities. Someone selected the wood. Someone understood the shape the weapon needed. The spears were prepared in advance. The group understood the behavior of the horses and needed to position itself in the right place. The exact identity of the weapons makers was debated for years. Following the more recent dating, Neanderthals have become likely candidates, although new evidence may still refine that interpretation. What matters is that those hunters did not succeed because they had developed larger claws. They succeeded because an idea could travel between several minds, transform wood into a weapon, and organize different bodies into a single strategy. We survived because we stopped facing nature with only the bodies we had been given. We began facing it with everything we could create, together. Human beings were not born with weapons. They were born with the ability to create them collectively. If our greatest strength has always been sharing knowledge, what would happen if every generation had to start over from nothing? Subscribe to the channel for more surprising stories about human evolution.